tally up a disgustingly large amount of money that I have put into this truck to keep it running and do some preventative maintenance over the 2 years that I've had it. And with that being said, it's very sad. And I don't ever do this. That's why I don't make those videos, man. That's why I don't do good numbers on YouTube, because I don't like to tally up these numbers that make me cry when I see how much money I put in. Howdy, welcome back to the Addicted Motors YouTube channel. My name is Troy, and I have a lot of bad Land Rovers and Range Rovers and a whole slew of other cars, but that's not what we're going to talk about. But this is actually going to be a video that I feel like I've owed you guys for a while, because I've gotten a lot of questions about it. And I started a series about, I bought the cheapest, well, not cheapest, I bought a cheap Supercharged L322 Land Rover, which is one of those things people tell you not to try to disprove, reliability statistics, financial statistics, performance statistics, pretty much everything about it, right? I've had this truck for 2 years. It's gone through a lot of change. So this is my 2008 Supercharged L322. So it almost has 170,000 miles on it. I've had it for about 2 years, and it's gone through a lot. It started as a one-owner DC truck. I got it auctioned for around $4,000. Good deal, good condition. I drove it for about 8 months without having to do much of anything to it besides normal things. And then it all started to kind of unravel. And that's what we're going to get into on this video. And this wasn't going to be a video, but my wife wanted more room. So we're going to take, instead of the 50 mile per gallon diesel BMW, the 10 miles per gallon, which is a factor of having modified it. Really good idea, Troy. L322 that's lifted on mud tires with a big roof basket on it. So that's what we're going to be taking for the weekend-long road trip with premium gas. It's real fun. It's real great. I'm glad we do this. But that's what this truck's for. Road trip over land. There's gonna be some trails and stuff up there we'll check out. So follow along, and I'll get into what it's cost me to really maintain this thing over the past few years, because it's not a small amount. And I probably shouldn't talk numbers in front of Cindy. I might have to do this in 2 or 3 other parts. I don't think she knows at all. Cut to me.
Pardon?
Cut to me. Yeah, just go. Didn't even slip a wheel. No drama. All right, so we made it to Pennsylvania. Obviously, you know, not really the craziest thing in the world as far as road trips go, but you know, it's always your old Land Rover, long road trip. Who knows what happens, right? This is how these kind of things end up. But just past 170,000 miles. I put 20,000 miles on this truck since I bought it a couple years ago, and this has probably been the most enjoyable driving experience that I've had with the truck on a long road trip thus far. What I did to achieve that was really kind of dial in the alignment and whatnot after the lift and the tires and the wheels, that combination of things has really soured my impression of the car. One, trying to find a shop that can balance the wheels, the steel terra firma wheels with these Cooper ST Max tires on it. Again, they're the most aggressive all-terrain you can buy. And getting it kind of sorted and get them balanced properly, get the truck aligned properly after the lift, so it feels semi-normal when on the highway without feeling too harsh or darty or anything like that, because I feel like these trucks are kind of hard to dial in once you start messing with the suspension geometry. I think the next quality of life thing that I've done that, you know, it's little, but it really keeps the car in good favors with me is the steering wheel is kind of cracked. And just it had this rough patch up here from just overuse throughout the years. And I got some I think 150 and 2,000 grit sandpaper. I sanded it down, I smoothed it out, and I kind of refinished it, so it feels a little bit more normal of a car when I drive and I hold the steering wheel. That immediate touch doesn't turn me off as much as it did previously. And again, since I hadn't been road tripping the car, I didn't need a car this size for the recent road trips I've been on. Again, I kind of neglected doing some of those dial-in things. Again, the second alignment, the extra balancing and rotation of the wheels and tires, the attention to the interior and whatnot. I was just putting that off because I was just bopping around town. It didn't really feel the effects of that for a long time because it's expensive. It's expensive to do all of these things if you're not doing it yourself. And you don't want to do a string alignment in your driveway. So with that said, the other turnoff of this for, you know, the road trip daily driver, because this is my daily driver now. The Jag is gone. The Land Cruiser is gone. There's no kind of backup SUV thing for checking that box of having a comfortable, long distance travel trust to take off road when you get to the destination, have some fun and do the thing. Because it also gets pretty terrible MPG. So I think we're out of the winter gas. We were getting like 11 miles per gallon. And before I did these tires and the lift and the rack, I was getting 18 to 20 on the highway at 70, 80 miles an hour. Now 70, 80 miles an hour, it's between 13 and 16. And in the winter, it's really like 12. So it's pretty atrocious with the price of fuel and everything to just, you know, run this thing around town and on trips. And that's just the additional things you have to live with when you're driving a truck like this. For daily duties. And I know people can say they get better miles per gallon. If you're in stock form, I'm sure you are. Now, another minor improvement that I've done is the backseat headroom. So my headliner sags. It's not terrible. It's not flopping and blowing around in the wind. So what I did is I devised a retention system, as you see here. And it needs to be kind of fine-tuned. But it allows me to sit in the back seat without the headliner touching the top of my head. And it's basically just a piece of plastic that I wedged between the C-pillars that just kind of keeps it up and elevates it, because I never notice it unless I'm sitting back here and I don't sit in the back of my own car. So little things like this just make it a little more user-friendly for myself and other people when they get in the car. Now, it's funny because as I'm making this video, reminding more and more things I've done to this. The next thing I did was replace the backup camera because it was just a black void of nothing for a long time. I replaced it with the used one. Now the backup camera works. Again, a little thing. And that's the thing with these old Land Rovers. Everything you do is not overly expensive, but it's a lot of nickel and diming. I've done so many little trim pieces, and like the backup camera, and like the seat adjustments, and like it needed a bat. That was $250, and I had to do something with the headlights and replace some bulbs and this and that. It's not bad. It's fun to tinker with. But again, just because I know everything that I need to do doesn't make it cheaper or less of a pain in the ass to go ahead and spend the money and do it on. So, what we're doing now is we're going to take a ride up to the top of this mountain, and I'm gonna calculate what I've spent maintaining and modifying. I don't want to go to that cost. We'll do the whole thing. I'll write some things down and put 30 seconds of effort into this. Let's go for a quick run. All right, so we're at the top of the little mountain hill. We're in Benton, Pennsylvania, actually. Again, my cabin's up here. They've had it for about 60 years. This is the little overlook that kind of overlooks the small kind of farming community out here, which is really a lovely place, and has really kind of grown and become a very enjoyable place to spend time. It's kind of by the Ricketts Glen State Park. The videos of us doing a little bit of off-roading yesterday, that was in the state game lands at Ricketts Glen State Park. Pretty cool spot if you're local to the area, you want to check it out. But again, that's not what we're going to make up to tally up and a disgustingly large amount of money that I have put into this truck to keep it running and do some preventative maintenance over the 2 years that I've had it. And with that being said, it's very sad, and I don't ever do this. That's why I don't make those videos, man. That's why I don't do good numbers on YouTube, because I don't like to tally up these numbers that make me cry when I see them. I like to kind of space it out. And this number, actually, it's not all cash that I've put out. I do get credit from car sales at the shop, Sports Car Workshop, so I'm not just funding this all out of pocket, but there's a lot of these things that do come out of pocket that I do pay for. All right, so let's get into it. So first thing, and these are all documented on video that I did. Let's cut it off as I just burn fuel. The first thing I think that went out on the truck, and that's been documented, is the air struts. One of the front air struts blew at the cabin, bounced the poor thing back to Richmond. It actually survived that. There was a hole in it. So I bought 2 Arnott air struts. I think I spent $700 or $800 on them. I don't remember exactly. I put it at $700, give or take. Try to do it myself. 2 or 3 seized bolts on the front end. Oh, I am missing something. I knew it. Okay, well, I'll add that in the end. Yeah. Oh man, the CV joint. So that ended up being around $700, and then I couldn't get the nuts, the bolts out. So I had to bring it to the shop. So that was another $800 in labor to replace those. The next thing I did after that tire incident, I blew a tire, which led me to believe that I needed 4 new tires. I'm doing tires, I might as well do wheels. I'm doing big wheels and tires. I might as well upgrade the front control arms, because all L322 need control arms. So I think that control arms, wheels, the Terra Firma steel wheels, and the Cooper STT Max all-terrains, that was like $3,800. The next thing I did was rear subframe bushing. I think that was $800. Belts, front and rear belt, and some coolant hoses and pipes, because they're all 10 years. That's around $500. Cooling system, other miscellaneous stuff. I'd replace a bunch more hoses. This is another $600 like that. The big one. So now, that's nickel and diming. Okay, whatever. Upgrades are upgrades. Mods are mods. They're always gonna be more expensive. That's a big number. A cooling system, the hose under the supercharger, which plagues all of these 4.2s, whether it be the Jag or the Land Rover that has the 4.2 supercharger in it. Supercharger hose, $1,800. Big one, but that was good insurance, so I don't blow my motor up for coolant related leaking. I had a brake line blowout in the back under the gas tanks, rusted out. That was $800. Alignments and balancing. Again, we're talking all the expenses. That stuff adds up. $200 a pop. And then the one I'm missing is the CV joint replacement. One of the front CV joints had a rip in the boot, so I had to replace that. And I'm sure I'm missing something. So that grand total is $11,250, which is a rip. So $11,000. So I'm in this truck for around $16,000. 170,000 mile Land Rover. Granted, I didn't fork out all that cash at one time. I'm not sure what this thing would sell for at the current time, but I bought this truck for me. I didn't buy this as an investment. I didn't buy it to resell it. I bought it to buy it and drive the shit out of it and have a good time. And that's kind of what I'm doing with it, while maintaining things and not beating it up too bad. It is a usable, functional, utilitarian thing, and that's what I'm going to try to maintain. What I have on the horizon, probably rear airbags. I think they're original. The rear does sag after a few days if it gets cooler, a little temperature change. Oh, and the battery. So yeah, I forgot, that was $200. You know, it adds up. It is a lot, and YouTube doesn't pay. You know, I don't make enough money on YouTube to cover the expenses. So that's the reality of jumping into this type of stuff. It is more expensive than you'll ever fathom, just like everything else in life. So when people recommend these things as a daily driver or an economical version of something, yes, they are better, but they're not amazing. And when it hits these high mileages, if it's not mileage, it's age. Those two things, you know, all the cooling systems, every single one of these trucks is mostly original. They all need to be replaced. That means all the hoses, and that hose kit from Atlantic Bridge is $1,000 without labor or any of the stuff associated with it. So, you know, it's not just an older used truck anymore. It is a project. They're all restorations. They all need to be gone through if you want to be able to use it reliably. And that's the honest truth of someone who's lived it. And I live it, and that's why I make these videos. So let's go back down the mountain. Oh, I cut the muffler off. That was $100. But that was money well spent. Woo! So my final thoughts, and I have these two trucks behind me for perspective, is modification and reliability. Those things don't always go hand in hand. This is my father-in-law's 2014 Land Cruiser 200 series, which I have done a video about, but not since he's modified it for kind of cross-country overland travel. And I say this comparatively because as a truck that has really received nothing but oil changes and brake pads, and he didn't even do the brake pads until 100,000 miles, which, holy crap, that's insane. But he has modified it extensively, including a bypass shock lift kit and all this other things, a dual secondary gas tank, skid plates and everything. But again, some of the advantages to air suspension also is he is, you know, this Icon 6.0 kit, I think the kit itself was like $4,000 or $5,000, more than the my whole truck purchase. And it is probably good, but comfortable. Sure, it is. It does bang around, but you know, that truck at $6,000 with a Johnson rod lift and a gap tool, it does everything for the most part that has. And before I replaced those struts, had 160,000 miles on the original air struts and system. Which, come on, guys, don't start throwing your flags. Nothing lasts 160,000 miles. That's what I guess I'm getting at. Well, that's pretty good from a long-term reliability standpoint. So I'm not comparing apples to oranges, but you know, it's all expensive, no matter which route you go, and especially when you get up in high miles. That's kind of the gist of the whole conversation. Thank you for sharing a little bit of this journey for me. I don't know if any of those numbers will scare you away or excite you, but I think it's all about what you prefer and what you enjoy as these trucks get older, and you know, maybe the enthusiast market kind of shifts to you know, either preserving them or modifying them further. I think that's going to be the upcoming game, and we'll kind of see where that goes. So appreciate you watching. Please like, subscribe, check out the rest of my videos, and we'll see you on the next one.